Okay, so where we last left off in Separate is Never Equal was Sylvia and her cousins and her aunt going to enroll in the local public school. I'm here to enroll the children in school, said Aunt Soledad when they arrived in the principal's office. The secretary gave Aunt Soledad two enrollment forms, one for Alice and one for Virginia. But she did not give her enrollment forms for Sylvia and her brothers. I want you to think about that. Why do you think she only gave it to them for Alice and Virginia, but not for Sylvia and her two brothers? Think about that for a second. They cannot attend this school, said the secretary. They must go to the Mexican school. Why do I have to go to the Mexican school? Sylvia wondered. She was not Mexican. She was American. She spoke perfect English. Her father was from Mexico, but he had become a U.S. citizen. Her mother was from Puerto Rico, which was a U.S. territory. Aunt Soledad was upset. But we all live in this part of town. So think about that. Think about what you just found out about Sylvia's history, right? Her father was born in Mexico, but he was now a U.S. citizen. His mother is Puerto Rican, which, like it says, is part of the U.S. And Sylvia herself was born in the United States. It must be very confusing, very upsetting. Sylvia looked at her cousins. They had light skin and dark auburn hair, and their last name was Vidori. Their father was Mexican, but of French descent. Then she looked at her brothers and her own hands and bare arms. She wondered, is this because we have brown skin and thick black hair and our last name is Mendez? Rules are rules, said the secretary. The Mendez children have to go to the Mexican school. I will not be enrolling any of them, then, said Aunt Soledad, and she stormed out of the office, taking Sylvia and the other children with her. So let's take a look at the pictures. I want you to think about Aunt Soledad's reaction there. I will not be enrolling any of them then. So she made the active choice that even though Virginia and Alice could go to this school, that if Sylvia and her brothers couldn't go there, that she wasn't going to send any of them there. I want you to think about what we read about in the Boycott Blues and about the way that they all stood together and boycotted together the buses. Why do you think she chose to pull all of them if only technically 3 of them couldn't go there? Think about that. When they arrived home, Aunt Soledad told Sylvia's father what had happened. Mr. Mendez told her not to worry. It had to be a mistake. He would take care of it. He was a businessman, and he was used to dealing with people. The next day, Mr. Mendez met with Mr. Harris, the superintendent of the Westminster School. Mr. Mendez explained that his family had just moved to a nearby farm. The public school on 17th Street is the closest school to our house, and my children should attend it. Your children have to go to the Mexican school, said Mr. Harris. But why? Asked Mr. Mendez. He was not given an answer other than, that is how it's done. In the following days, Mr. Mendez met with Mr. Atkinson, the county board superintendent, Mr. Harris's superior, and then with the school board, which oversaw all of the schools in Orange County. But they all said the same thing. Your children have to go to the Mexican school. But why? Mr. Mendez kept asking. No one would give him a satisfactory answer. Okay, we're going to stop here.